morning, everyone. How is everyone doing this morning? If this is your first time here, hi, my name is Carrington. Not your first time here, hi, welcome back. If you enjoy any and all things makeup related, definitely go ahead, hit that subscribe button. If you enjoy this video, definitely give this video a thumbs up. Go follow me over on Instagram. And let's go ahead and let's dive on into today's video, which is going to be testing more new makeup. I already know some of you that have been here for a while are like, Carrington, what's going on, girl? Like, what is going on? So yeah, since you guys have seen me last, I have dyed my hair completely black. My nose piercings are now finished up. I've got 2 on each side and a septum, and my Medusa is now done. I feel so complete. I feel so complete. So if you guys are wondering what stuff we're testing out, well, let's go ahead. Let's dive on into that. So first off, we are going to be trying out this new palette that launched from Klarity a few months ago. I've had this. I just haven't had the chance to use it. So I felt like this was really pretty, especially for like what I've got on. So I was thinking maybe we could do something maybe like a little bit pinky, orangey kind of. And then use one of the shimmers because there's a duochrome in there that I might want to use. Then we have this from Cosmetics. This is their new Ultra Matte Powder Bronzer. I have mine in the shade Santa Barbara. I think, doesn't have a scent. I think this is the lightest shade that they did have. We have this new Tower 28 mascara. This is the Make Waves mascara. Then we have from Patrick Ta, we have a couple things from Patrick Ta. So first off is going to be their like foundation and setting powder. Then also from Patrick Ta, I did purchase the new palette that he released for the holidays that has, if I can get it open, that has some blushes and then highlights. So I'm excited for that. And then last up, we have this from Milk Makeup. This is their new, some kind of concealer. What is it called? Future Fluid All Over Cream Concealer. So these are some of the things that we're definitely going to be testing out. So if you guys are excited to see what look I create, what I think of the products, then definitely keep on watching. I always like to start off with the eyes. So we are going to start off with this Klarity Cosmetics. This is their Lily palette. It's a pressed pigment palette. And so here we have all of the shades inside. I will definitely go ahead and we'll give those a swatch. So first up we have this right here called Just a Lily Bit. This is definitely one of those like mint greens. Next up, a little bit more of like a mint green and like a shimmer is going to be Nowhere to Grow. Then we have this right here. This is called Best Buds. This is definitely like a terracotta. I feel like on here it looks a little bit more pinky. In person, it's definitely a little bit more red, like definitely that terracotta. So then we have the only like multi-chrome in the palette. This is called You Grow Girl. This is so beautiful. Then we have this shade right here called Budding Romance. It's just like a very light berry. Then for a light berry type shimmer shade, in the next row is Flowery Power. Then we have this right here. This is like a very bright neon orange. This is called Florette. Then we have this shade right here. This is called Tiger Lily. I will say this shade, it did not swatch the best. It's just very chunky and like hard to like keep all together. And that's in the shade Tiger Lily. And then, Oh No, I Wet My Plants. This is like a little bit of a deeper berry type purple. And then last one is this shade right here. Again, this one also just didn't really swatch the best. It almost kind of like it's trying to be topperish, but not at the same time, if that makes any sense. And then that's last but not least. So those are all of the swatches from the palette. I really want to use that You Grow Girl, that duo, that multi-chrome. So I'm going to see what we can, I don't know, kind of sort of create with this palette. I'm excited. I always get excited getting to play with new stuff. It's the most exciting part of my day. We're going to start off with a shade right here called Florette, which is that bright, whoa, that has a ton of kick up, which is that bright like neon orange. And that's going to be like our transition color. So for me and my eyes being hooded, I do start in the crease and then just start to bring it up on into what would be my transition area. Okay. So I think as you guys can tell, I've had quite a little bit of a transformation going on over here. This is probably the happiest that I've been. I'm going to post a picture that I took almost exactly, it's a couple days older than exactly a year. So exactly 10 years ago is when I posted this. And although the leopard is still the same, I think we could just like markedly tell that like I have kind of grown into who I want to be over life. And this is definitely one of the ways in which I am achieving that, which is kind of fun and exciting to just kind of watch yourself go from this person that was in like your, this is when I was 20, 19 or 20, and looking at that and realizing that like I was dressed how I was dressed based on the experiences I had with the people that were around me, right? Because for most of like, I will say I did have like a little bit of like my goth stage in high school. All right, so let's go in with this right here. And I'm not going to lie, I really liked that stage. I loved it a lot. But then I did do quite a bit of moving around to other schools where that just like wasn't really something that was a thing. Right? Like it was mostly full of like people wanting to be cheerleaders, football players, like, you know, like there wasn't really a lot of diversity. So now that I'm an adult and I've had my life experiences, I was like, I want to go back to that. So now here I am, and I love it. I love it so much. And for like the outer corner, I hope this doesn't deter it too much. Let's go in with this. Let's start off with this shade right here, and we can always deepen up with the other one. This is called Budding Romance. And we're just going to start tapping that. Oh, you know what? That did work out a little bit better than I thought it was going to. Hold on. I want a different brush. Okay. I have now glitter primed my eyelids. I'm so excited to go into this shade right here, You Grow Girl. This feels so soft on your finger. Oh yeah. Yep, yep, yep. Holy mother bear. We weren't ready. I will say one thing about Klarity's formula is that the shimmers are very, very soft. Now that can be a good or a bad thing, so let me just like say this. The reason why it can be good or bad is because if you go in too heavy, like with your finger, it's so soft that it'll bunch up. Like it'll be very, very crumbly, and just like very chunky on like your fingers. So you do have to be a little bit careful, but their formula is so good. It's just so... Okay, can I see? Oh yeah, and I can see the shifts on the eyes and everything. Okay, I love that. I am going to say though, because this lid shade is a little bit darker than I was anticipating, I am going to slightly go in with that darker purple shade out here on the outer third. So that way not everything else is so light and that is just so bright. So, okay, that looks good. Next up on our list to try out is going to be this Power 28 mascara. This is the Make Waves. This is for sensitive eyes. It's a smooth sailing formula designed to keep cool while you rock the boat. Lightweight conditioning formula with easy oh my gosh. With easy wash off technology keeps irritation and breakage at bay. Curved dual-sided brush grabs onto every single lash to build boldness, lift your lash, fluff your lash, and meet cute. Okay. How to use. Use the inner wave of the dual-sided blush to build up volume and the longer bristles to lengthen and define lashes. So, okay, so it sounds like this is a dual brush. Okay, yes. So it kind of like curves. I don't know if you can tell. And it looks like the ones up here are a little bit shorter and the ones down here are a little bit longer. So it says to start off with the curved short side. This is to build volume. And then use the other side to build length. Okay, it's quite interesting. So I do see the length and I do see a little bit of volume. Interesting. I will have to try this when I do like a very basic eye, and see how much I like this, because so far it seems like it's pretty decent. And it does do what it says it does. Like you can see, like my lashes definitely are like much longer, darker, fuller. But I will say I think I would have a better opinion if I did like a much lighter eye where I like knew that like this look is gonna definitely need lashes. Just because I don't have that good, like I got some good lashes, but I don't have like that good lashes, you know. So okay, all right. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go off camera, do as much of the face as I can, so we can come back so we can start trying out the Patrick Ta stuff. So we're now ready to go in with the Patrick Ta. This is the Major Skin Cream Foundation and Finishing Powder Duo. So let's ingredients. This is get flawless coverage with a luminous skin-like finish in one compact. Velvety cream foundation blends seamlessly to perfect the complexion and blur imperfections, paired with an airy translucent setting powder to soften, diffuse, and minimize the appearance of pores. Apply the cream foundation to moisturized skin, building to desired coverage. Then apply the setting powder to oil-prone areas, concentrating on the T-zone for best results. And then apply using the complexion brush, which I don't have the complexion brush. I didn't feel the incessant need to buy the complexion brush. So mine is in the shade Fair 1. So it does come in a very like nice sized compact. As you can tell, compared to like my hand, it's very nice, very well sized. You do get a good amount of the foundation compared to the powder. So the foundation part is quite a bit bigger than the powder part. So we're going to take this. I'm going to take a little bit of this foundation onto a brush. Okay. Alright. So here's the part where I'm just like, I can't tell if any cover. Oh, yeah, no. Okay. Nope, it is. It's applying. It's applying to the skin. Huh. Okay. This is very much how it says, skin-like. Okay. I will say I do need to be a little bit careful around my nose area due to the amount of piercings I now have. And I'm just gonna brush up against it like this. I don't want to cover it with any foundation since that is a super new piercing. Wow. Wow. I don't really care for it on my nose. I will say that much I don't really care for. But in terms of that though, like, it looks really good. And like when I put it on, it almost doesn't like feel like it's foundation. It's almost like I'm putting on like just like a powder or something on my face. That's just like how light like it feels. And I will say though, it does do pretty decent coverage. For the amount that I put on, I would say probably like a solid light medium type of. But I don't really care for it on my nose. It looks a little bit broken up on my nose. I don't have any foundation up in here. But like, it just looks very, very skin-like. Next up we have the Milk Makeup. This is the little concealer. So this is the Future Fluid All Over Cream Concealer. It's 92% natural, medium to full coverage concealer. Has Defensal, Revival, and hyaluronic acid to help soothe and hydrate. I think that's all it really says. Use pointed tip of applicator for precise coverage and flat side for larger areas. Blend with fingertips, brush, or sponge. Alright, so I am a sponge type person. So, okay, so here's like the little doe foot. It's like kind of like comes together at a point. So I'm going to use the point to get all up in there in my areas I need. I will say I don't know how like accurate this concealer review is going to be. I have been feeling like so exceptionally dry under my eyes, and I can't figure out why it's as dry as it is, but oof, it is dry. It is dry. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to start blending this out. Now remember, it did say medium to full coverage. I do have some dark circles, which it looks like it's covering quite nicely. It is a little bit, you know, a little bit brightening. It's a little bit, yeah, no, it's brightening. Okay, right. I popped on some Charlotte Tilbury Cream Bronzer. So now we're going to move on into the Patrick Ta. This is the Face. This is the palette. It's similar to the one that he released last year. I didn't get last year's one, except for like this side has a highlighter. So we have these two shades. Does it say what the shades are? We have Giving Flirty, Giving Sun-Kissed, and then Giving Glossy, right? Glossy, yes. So I think based on like the eye look that we have, that's right here, the Sun-Kissed one, is probably going to be best. But let's go ahead and let's try to do some swatches of these. They feel a little bit different than his other formula. I don't know. Like, it's just not as pigmented, and it just feels more greasy than normal. And then as for like the as glassy, it literally just feels like, I don't know. Okay, so we're going to take a little bit onto the sponge, and we're going to start stippling this in with the sponge. Okay. Okay, well, it is providing some color. It's a very pretty color. It lays down really nicely. It's working really well with the foundation, which I would assume that it hopefully would, considering it's from the same company. But I will say it just doesn't really have the pigmentation that the other ones I find do. And then when you do like put it up, it almost looks like you don't need a highlight, but it's not because like it's like glittery or anything. It's just because it looks kind of greasy, like if that makes any sense. So then we're going to go ahead and we're going to go into the So Glossy. I'm going to flip my sponge around, take the tip of that, and literally just start pressing this in. And again, it does make your stuff like extra glassy, you know, but I don't know. I don't necessarily know that I'm like as in love with this as I am his other stuff, which is odd because I really felt like this is going to be like very similar. Like, this is going to be the same. And it's just, I'm kind of like, it's just not. Like, it sinks in fine, right? But it's just, I feel like it looks like it's more of like grease or good skincare, more so than like, I don't know. It's hard to explain. Okay, so now we're going to go on into the Patrick Ta. We're going to go into the setting powder. Here's the part where, because this setting powder is white, so I'm just like, is this only good for like under my eyes maybe? I don't know. I don't want it to be too white. And here's the thing, even with using this powder, going over like that blush and that highlight portion of my face, it just feels so sticky. It feels really like it's sticking to the brush. And I don't really find I have that a whole lot with other Patrick Ta products. I haven't ever really experienced that. Ooh. I don't know if I like the powder. I really liked the foundation. I don't think I like the powder. I don't think I like the powder. It's just kind of breaking stuff apart. It's not looking super good. It was looking so good before I used the powder. So I don't think I like the powder. I would have went with something else for the powder. That's just, it's just, yeah, it's just not a for me thing, is it? It's really not. Okay, all right. So now we have the Melt Cosmetics bronzer. So here we are in the bronzer club now. And this just looks so deep. Even, I don't know. Okay. Even for me. Ah! All right. So I'm just going to take like a very little amount. Like I just dunked my brush in lightly twice. Yeah. Like, wow. This is going to be really easy to go heavy-handed with because I literally just dip my brush in. Like dink, dink, and like off. And it's just like, it's providing the pigment, it's providing the color. It's almost like it's a little bit too deep and a little bit too orange maybe for me, you know? Okay, I don't know. I don't think this might be the shade for me. This was their lightest? Oh, I don't like this. I do not like this. I think it's the color for me. It's just like looking just like a little bit too orange, a little bit too muddy for me. Like this is just, it's too deep. That's too deep. Okay. All right. So now we're going to move right back into that Patrick Ta palette. And let me get a little blush brush. Well, we're going to go into the powder of that same one that we went in with. And, okay, let's see what happens. Because I feel like we may have got a little bit too much blush. Okay, we could have. Yeah, we easily could have got a little bit too much blush too. Like, this is kind of the amount of pigment I was kind of expecting with the cream portion that I just didn't get. But, okay, let's see how everything is looking. I mean, it looks really good. I'm not gonna lie. Like, my makeup is looking pretty good, pretty decent. I think it was just like that powder I didn't really care for a whole lot, but it's, so far everything's looking pretty good. Then we're gonna take that highlight shade from in the palette, the powder one. I'm just gonna see how this works out. Either to our advantage or not. I'm not quite sure which yet. Okay. Cute. Is that too dark for me? Almost. Like, I definitely want, I can't overly build because then it'll be just like a little bit too dark. But let's go ahead and let's start working on like the lower lash line. So basically for the lower lash line, I'm just going to do exactly what we did on the top. So I'm going to take that very first shade and just start like smoking that all around. I was really nervous about how well this eye look was going to turn out. I don't know why I was freaking out, but you know. I feel like, are you really even doing a makeup look if you're trying new stuff and are just like, well, I'm not sure how well this is going to go. And then, you know, then it does work out, but it's the concept of getting there. Especially because you don't know if it's going to work for you or not. Probably like my biggest thing. So I just don't know. Okay. I was thinking maybe this for like inner corner. First of all though, I am going to take a little bit of that You Grow Girl, that duochrome. Just because again, like I now have fake nails on. I'm back to that again. We're back. And we're back. To that. And I just really like to just like fill in my eyes. So then we'll take Tiger's Lily, which is that other little orangish shade. We'll just start. Okay. This did turn out better than I thought it would. I thought it was going to be maybe like too dark or something for it, but I don't think so. I think it goes okay. Alright, so here's the completed and final look, finished. What do you guys think of how everything is looking? Let's do something a little bit more up close. Okay, I don't use filters just so everybody is well aware, but this is kind of what everything is looking like right now. Let me know what you guys think down below. So now we're going to go ahead and we are going to rank the products from my least favorite thing that we've tried to my most favorite. Coming in last place for me is probably going to be this Melt Bronzer. Again, it's just like a little bit too orange and it was a little bit too pigmented right off the gate. And this is supposed to be their lightest shade. And I'm just like, listen, I'm super fair. This is not a very good light shade. This is not a very good light shade at all. I don't know if it was like, if it was because this really was the lightest shade or this was the lightest shade they had in stock. I don't know. I'm gonna have to go back on their website, see if I can find something maybe lighter or more neutral or something. But even then, it's just like so easy to go overboard. That's not something I don't like, because there are times when I am just not paying attention and I will go overboard and it'll be just like a hot mess. So not necessarily my favorite bronzer. I've tried a lot of really good bronzers this year. That one probably isn't it. Next up is going to be this Tower 28 mascara. It's just really dry. I think it did add like the voluminous and it did lengthen the lashes as, oh my gosh, I feel like there's something in my eye. As like it said it was going to, but it was just like so hard to get there. It just felt just really dry. And I was like, okay, I'm not really a fan of the dryness. Again, I would have to try this again. With like a very neutral like eye look, like super simple, where I don't feel the need to have lashes to really like give this more of a test. But just upon first impression and trying this out, it just felt so dry. Next up is this Patrick Ta face palette. So okay, here's where my qualm with this palette is. First and foremost, these up here shades, they just don't have a lot of pigment to them. It does blend really nicely like into the skin. Like if you are wanting something that's gonna like really sink into your skin and really just like look like your skin is that color, these are really good, but they just don't have a lot of pigment. And I'm so used to his actual like blush duos that have that pigment, like even with like the creams, that I just didn't really find that it was super just like creamy. And these felt a little bit greasier than like his other formula. So I'm just kind of like, I'm not loving the creams. I really did like the powders. I thought the powders were nice and pigmented. They were kind of similar to that's in his like blush duos. These ones though are a little bit more like shimmery than a lot of the blushes that he has. I feel like he has some shimmery blushes, but these ones just look like markedly more shimmery. I don't know if you guys can see like all the glitter or if it's just like in person. I don't know. And then the highlight I thought was really nice too. It's like a very nice, it's not too overpowering. It did, like I can't really build it up anymore because then it'll be too dark for my skin tone. So I like half liked the palette. I thought that the powders were very reminiscent of like him and his formula, and I felt like the creams just in a way like missed the mark. Maybe it's like I just have like a really bad palette. I haven't seen anybody else talk about this because I like to have my own first impressions. So I'm going to have to go back. I'm going to have to like see if maybe other people are experiencing this, or maybe it's just like me. Maybe I got a bad palette or something happened to it during transit with it being like super hot. I don't know. Definitely will have to watch that. Next up is going to be this Milk concealer. I actually don't mind this. I thought that it lightened my under eyes. I thought that it did a pretty good job. I will say though, it just, the issue that like and it could just be like the powder. I think it might be the powder, but it just is starting to look like a little bit like cracked up and cakey. And again, that could just be the powder, but it could also be the concealer as well, because this is like a medium to full coverage, which I do think it did a good job of covering up my dark circles, everything like that. So this is what I'm just gonna have to play around with more. I don't want to necessarily sit there and say, well, it was the powder, so this is great, because I don't know for sure. So I'm gonna rank it like a little bit lower. It's like halfway. It's like half. It's like right in the middle. Just because I need to play around with it more to get a more definitive answer. Next up is going to be this Patrick Ta Face Duo. So what I will say is I love the foundation. I did not think I was going to love the foundation as much as I did, especially since you mostly do really have to use like a brush to really, I mean, you can use a sponge, but I felt like I was really able to just like dip my brush in and get a good amount. And it was just like really easy to blend out. And it really is like your skin. Like legitimately, this is like your skin. I was floored by the foundation part. I think the powder is where things kind of went a little bit downhill for me. I feel like it just kind of started getting a little bit more like cakey and a little bit more crusty only after I had applied the powder. So for me, I think it's the powder thing where I'm just like, that's where it kind of like throws me off. If the powder was good too and my skin looked so good after using the powder, that would have been my number one product, because that was so good. Like the foundation part, so good. I love it. So that's going to make my number one product that we tried today going to be this Lily palette by Klarity. Now, again, I will say, remember, there is like some fallouts in the pan, and these can get a little bit chunky if you're not careful with how much you apply or put on, or whatever the case may be. So just know that like it can get a little bit chunky, but the color story is beautiful. The pigmentation is there. Like I really thought I got a really beautiful look by going with like some different colors. And here again, like the multi-chrome, you can see like the shifts in it. I think this is like a really beautiful palette. Definitely one where you could create some like basic everyday colorful looks. You could vamp it up, you know, do whatever it is that you would like to do. I think this is a great palette, great quality. They always have amazing formula. So that is it for today's video. I hope that you guys enjoyed. If you did, definitely give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget, if you have not hit that subscribe button or click the little bell, that you do so, because we still have some more new makeup that we are needing to try. And that is right, we have more new makeup that I need to try. A lot, actually. So make sure you guys are subscribed and notified so you guys can be alerted to those new videos. Don't forget to go follow me over on Instagram if you have not yet already. Let me know what you guys are thinking of, like all of the like piercings, dark hair, things like that. Are you guys into it? Are you not? Let me know all that down below. That is it. Thanks for coming and hanging out with me. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you all in my next one. Bye.